World Bank's Vietnam 2035 report released. Businesses to cope with security threats. Welcome to Bizline, brought to you by VTV International. You're with me, Linh Hương. As usual, we start our show with several highlights in the economic scene from the past week. The World Bank and the Vietnamese government published a joint report entitled Vietnam 2035 on February 23rd. Deputy Prime Minister Vũ Đức Đam and World Bank President Jim Yong Kim attended the event. The report Vietnam 2035 towards prosperity, creativity, justice and democracy had contributions by leading economies in Vietnam and abroad. According to the report, by 2035, Vietnam is targeting a GDP per capita target of a minimum $18,000 if the country maintains an annual growth rate of over 7%. This growth is equivalent to the income of South Korea in 2002 or Malaysia in 2013. High growth will help Vietnam catch up with Indonesia and the Philippines. Also, in this occasion, VTV reporter had an interview with World Bank President Jim Yong Kim. In the interview, World Bank President emphasized the need for effective restructure process of state-owned enterprises in order to make the private sector the core of driving economic growth of the country. Vietnam saw the lowest growth in the Consumer Price Index, or CPI, since February 2003, according to the General Statistics Office, or the GSO. This growth was the lowest since 2003, excluding the reduction in CPI of 0.05% in February 2015. According to Đỗ Thị Ngọc, deputy head of the GSO's Consumer Price Index Department, the low CPI increase this month was partly due to high demand on local consumption for the Tet holiday and slow export processing by rice exporters. The European Union's highest court has decided that a regulation imposing an anti-dumping duty on leather footwear imported into the EU from China and Vietnam is partially invalid. The EU court on February 22nd said that market conditions in the countries weren't properly considered when adopting the regulation. The two EU lawmaking institutions failed to comply with the procedural rules when adopting a 2006 regulation that imposed an anti-dumping duty of 16.5% on footwear originating in China and a 10% rate on footwear originating in Vietnam. Drought and salt intrusion in the Mekong Delta region has incurred losses estimated at 150 trillion Vietnamese dong, or $6.7 billion. The National Center for Hydrometeorological Forecasting has revealed that the average yearly temperature in Vietnam's southern provinces has been around 1 to 1.5 degrees Celsius higher than previous years. Drought is forecasted to occur in the first half of 2016, and salt intrusion is likely to reach records this year. Salt intrusion is threatening 300,000 hectares of rice fields and fruits in the region. Water shortages are likely to hamper the livelihood of locals. The 8th International Exhibition on Shipbuilding, Shipping and Offshore Technology, or VietShip 2016, just kick-started on February 24th in Hanoi. Held every 2 years by the Shipbuilding Industry Corporation since 2002, VietShip is Vietnam's largest exhibition in the field, offering Vietnamese and international companies a chance to share the latest technologies and explore investment opportunities. At this year's event, the products and services displayed cover almost every field of shipbuilding and the maritime construction industry, such as ship repair and maintenance technology, offshore engineering and facilities, waterway transportation, design, insurance, financing, and the like. The number of booths and participating enterprises has increased by 10% compared to 2014. 130 enterprises and 220 booths from 15 countries, such as Japan, Turkey, the United States, South Korea, France, the UK, Germany, the Netherlands, Norway, and many more. We have just reviewed several economic and business highlights from the past week. Up next, we'll talk about efforts to increase information security in Vietnam in our crosstalk. According to figures published by the consulting firm PricewaterhouseCoopers, each year Vietnamese enterprises lose about $400 million on cyber attacks due to incomplete security protection. But this is only the tip of an iceberg. Some other surveys have also revealed that about 40% of Vietnamese websites are prone to information security risks. It seems that businesses have not sufficiently invested in cybersecurity. So what are the reasons behind this issue? To learn more about this, our reporter has sat down with Mr. Lê Hồng Việt, Chief Technology Officer of FPT Corporation. But before we talk, let's take a look at the following.
The Internet first came to Vietnam in 1997. As of June 2015, the country ranked 7th in Asia and 18th worldwide in terms of Internet usage, with some 45 million Internet users, according to the 2015 White Book on Vietnamese Information and Communication Technology. However, this remarkable growth has made the country a potential target for cyber attacks. Last year, more than 3.2 million computers were attacked. In the first 9 months of the year, 7,400 websites also suffered attacks. The number of attacked websites reflects the information security situation in Vietnam. According to a survey of 221 agencies and organizations conducted by the Vietnam Information Security Association's Southern Branch, only 34% of them have an official or employee specializing in cybersecurity. Most of them spent less than 5% of overall spending on information technology and security. Experts say that if organizations and businesses paid attention to security issues when setting up their websites, they could limit 90% of the hackers. Investments in information security would definitely not make a direct impact on company profits. However, if their system is hacked, turnover could be affected, and they would have to spend big money to stabilize their websites.
First of all, it was not until recent attacks on some hundreds government websites and 1,000 of commercial sites that cybersecurity became a crucial issue for Vietnam, in particular the business community. How was the situation before?
I think the situation in 2015 is not very good for Vietnam in general. So we look at different numbers. There are statistic numbers showing that around 31,000 incidents has occurred to the organizations, including government, including businesses in Vietnam. There are new form of attack or new form of security breach become more popular. In Vietnam, for example, phishing company pretended to be a different organization gathering information from users. And according to Kaspersky, 94 million incidents, including for organizations and for individuals, has occurred in 2015, which put Vietnam into the 4th position of the vulnerable countries for cyber attack.
What is your assessment of the current state of internet security of Vietnamese businesses?
Larger organizations, they do have some form of protection. I think organizations like banking or payment organizations, they're pretty good at cybersecurity. But most of the small and medium companies are not investing enough into their information system to protect their data or to train the employee to aware of the threat and how to protect themselves. And then they don't have the organization in their organization to implement the solutions to protect themselves.
Many still consider internet security the problem, the concerns of experts only, not for the business community. Regarding the recent attacks on the websites and also the businesses, how should we change this opinion?
I think the most important point, Vietnamese people don't have high awareness. Is it necessary to protect themselves? Security can be managed at 3 levels. The first one is at the expert level. Of course, we have experts to implement the solution or to investigate the breaches. So that's the first level. But the second level is we can have the management, IT management, to implement the security management systems, security management standards. It doesn't require deep knowledge on how to attack or how to protect. They just implement the system right. And then that will have you to resolve most of the problems. And the third one is for each employees in the companies. They need to have the mindset to protect the data, not to use the softwares from some unknown sources, or they need to keep your information, their information, in the right place. Yeah.
Also, Vietnam is a 100% Japanese-owned business that has operated in Vietnam for nearly 10 years. Their main focus is developing software and IT solutions. The firm gained its foothold in the Vietnamese software market as a prestigious business for information security. Hiring both Vietnamese and Japanese staff, Mr. Hiroshi Watabe, the company's director, has pointed out the main reason for the lack of information security in Vietnam.
なぜ同じもの、同じ道具があるのにセキュリティが守れないか。それは道具で準備をするというセキュリティの守り方と、もう一つそれをちゃんと繰り返し皆さん 100% 守るかどうかっていうその運用の方がダメなんですよね。
その通りだと思っています。で、それはなぜかというと、情報セキュリティ、そのセキュリティをすることによってお客様の信頼を得る。で、お客様の信頼を一度、破るというか信頼がなくなってしまうと、それを取り戻すのにはすごい時間がかかりますと。で、そのために逆に多くのセキュリティの投資をしなきゃいけないので、最低限お客様の、情報を流出しないだとか、お客様が安心できるセキュリティをするということは重要だと思っています。
FBT, a leading Vietnamese tech firm, has also developed its own central data center since 2013. Entrance is restricted in this area, while indices of information security are strictly monitored by a group of delegated employees. This construction has achieved many security certificates. Currently, the corporation has constructed 4 such data centers in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City. Both USOL and FPT are prestigious, large-scale tech firms which are abundant in financial and technical security resources. By contrast, small or even medium-sized firms are not willing to pay the money needed to protect their information.
However, the small and medium-sized enterprises and the very small businesses are the main force of the Vietnamese economy. However, they are still limited in terms of financial and technological capacities. So what are the solutions for these companies to protect themselves from cyber attacks?
So there are a couple of approaches they can utilize. The first one is with the recent development of technologies, cloud computing coming. So the information system can be hosted by the professional. For example, if you can put your ERP to the cloud, and you can put your document management into the cloud, and the cloud provider will protect that data for you. So that's one of the approach. The second approach is to do it by themselves, but which is a little bit costly, to recruit people to buy hardware or even to use open source software, which is also expensive for very small and medium company, right? And I think in our current situation here in Vietnam, one good approach is to use the professional services from the companies like FPT. We are providing security implementation, security audits, and then can come in on incident or preventive maintenance of the system. So for large-scale companies, there are multiple standards for security. ISO 27000 which is for security and data management. For organizations such as bank or financial institutions, there are standards like PCI DSS for this industry. So for the larger one, you can, based on the industry, you can find out the suitable standards to be used.
Yes, those aforementioned measures are the preventative measure that we can use to protect ourselves from cyber attacks. So what are the solutions to cope with the consequences of the attacks once it happens?
In order to recover from the attack, they need to implement the backup solutions, the security solutions upfront. You cannot wait for the attack to happen, and then when you lose all your data, then there is nothing to do at all, right? So you need to have the mechanisms in place way before the attack happen, and then once on the attack happen, you have options. If you're a large enterprise, you have good security team. You can rely on them. Firstly, to restore the original system. Secondly, is to investigate how did the incident happen to prevent it from happen again. And the other option for smaller companies, there are many security experts out there, and there is a company with professional services. They can come in and have you to investigate, have you to fix the problem, and also will recommend you the preventive solution for the futures. Yeah.
Internet security becomes even more important in light of Vietnam's integration process. The country has joined many free trade agreements, which allow more trade transactions from participating countries. Cloud computing, e-commerce, mobile transactions, big data, and the Internet of Things are creating tremendous opportunities for businesses, but also heightening the risk of security breaches. Information security, therefore, will be an even more urgent task for trade, logistics, transport, customs procedures, and tax e-payments.
There are two major trends in security.
Có hai xu hướng mà tội phạm mạng đang thực hiện. Một là khi các doanh nghiệp trở nên lớn hơn, lượng thông tin nhiều hơn, thì việc đánh cắp thông tin sẽ mang lại những giá trị về mặt kinh tế. Xu hướng thứ hai là khi các hacker tấn công mạng bây giờ không coi đó là trò chơi để khẳng định mình như trước kia, mà dần trở thành các tổ chức tinh vi và hoạt động một cách chuyên nghiệp trong việc tấn công và xâm nhập hệ thống mạng.
Without ensuring information security, the Vietnamese cannot maintain their image and credibility.
As a Japanese software company, information security is our first and foremost task. When choosing partners, we always look for companies with certificates of information security. Those with information breaches cannot receive any contracts.
On June 10, 2011, the Prime Minister issued a decree on strengthening activities to ensure digital information safety. The law on information security, once implemented, will help monitor activities that threaten business operations. During working sessions organized by the General Assembly at the 132nd Inter-Parliamentary Union, or IPU, held in Hanoi, Vietnam made 9 proposals regarding anti-cyber attacks to contribute to the UN's agenda. 8 out of 9 proposals by Vietnam have received support from other countries.
After years of research, engineers from the Vietnam Cyberspace Security Technology Company have developed software for cybersecurity. The software allows centralized website monitoring and can track malware sources anywhere in the world while warning users of cyber attacks via email or message. This software won an ASEAN ICT prize from the ASEAN Information Ministerial Council in 2014.
Thì chúng tôi cũng áp dụng những cái giải thuật khác nhau để phát hiện những cái kiểu tấn công mới nhất, những cái nội dung thay đổi mới nhất, thực hiện kiểm tra hoàn toàn là thao tác từ xa Nghĩa là người quản trị hoàn toàn không phải cấu hình gì ở trên cái hệ thống mà có thể giám sát được website từ xa.
Trong tương lai chúng tôi muốn phân tích thêm, phát triển thêm các cái tính năng về đặc biệt là phân tích mã độc, xem website ở Việt Nam có bị các cái hacker nước ngoài cài mã độc không, và xa hơn nữa thì chúng tôi muốn phát triển cái giải pháp mình có thể là bảo vệ website trước các cái giải pháp các sự tấn công của nước ngoài.
Besides technical solutions offered by businesses, there have been cooperative programs between Vietnamese insiders. Vietnam launched the World Security Day in 2008, an annual event for the internet security community in Vietnam. It draws the participation of thousands of experts and businesses, offering new solutions to the issue.
Trong một vài chục năm qua, chúng ta đã khá là bận rộn với việc là phát triển về hạ tầng thông tin, phát triển mua các cái ứng dụng, triển khai các ứng dụng để làm được những việc này việc khác. Nhưng mà vấn đề bảo mật, vấn đề là bịt các lỗ hổng bảo mật, rồi là đưa ra các cái chính sách để quản lý người dùng là vẫn còn bị buông lỏng rất là nhiều.
Since 2012, Vietnam has been drafting the law on information security, which sources opinions from experts and the authorities. The law will take effect in July 2016, making Vietnam the second country in Asia to have a law on information security.
Cái nền tảng của luật thì chúng ta xây dựng được các cái quy định cụ thể, các cái nghị định, các cái thông tư và những cái hành lang pháp lý khác, rồi các cái chính sách để mà có thể nâng cao được năng lực đảm bảo an toàn thông tin cho đất nước, cho tất cả các đối tượng từ nhà nước cho đến các doanh nghiệp.
Comprising 9 chapters and 59 articles, the law on information security will provide a tool to regulate illegal acts, such as transmitting, storing, and spreading malicious information.
As we can draw from our discussions, currently the public awareness is not so high. Meanwhile, the serious sanctions have not been placed on those attacks. So what should be done about this in terms of legal regulations and the promotional campaign?
I think the very good news is the information security law is about to be effective on just July 2016. And I think it came in just right time when Vietnam is in the middle of the globalization, right? A lot of communities, as we are joining right now, from AEC to TPP, which require a lot of protection on the properties, especially intellectual properties. So the law will have us to take one step further into that community. The first and foremost is the law set the standards for the government agencies to implement in order to protect the information. And second one is to define the privacy for citizens. So and from that we can see that what kind of activities violate the law or violate the privacies of the people. Before that, we don't have that kind of concrete definition of what kind of information need to be protected and what kind of activity is illegal. In terms of administration, right, government administrations, there also the Information Security Department in the Ministry of Information and Communication, right? They are coordinating management from the government management point of view, and we also have the Association for Information Security. That's provide another perspective on this subject from the experts and from the professional point of view, and I believe that many companies is also preparing for these security issues when they launch new services, they launch new products to help organizations to protect their data better. So the linkage between the government, the association, and the enterprises strengthen the capability.
Many experts asserted that Vietnam is capable of building a competent the internet security that can stand against the internet security attacks. So, is this opinion justified?
I think we have significant improvement in recent years. For example, we have companies that can compete worldwide, like BKAV on the antivirus solution, security solution. But look at the numbers, right? We cannot say that Vietnam is very competent in cybersecurity. However, the trend is showing very good movement. Startups also started to invest in security. Traditional SIs, system integration companies, also investing in building new capability. For example, inside FPT, we are also providing the services for auditing and for certifying organizations to certain standards. For example, we can certify banking or financial institutions with the PCI DSS, which is the standard for payment card industry. And we're also investing in new startups, new trend of security protection.
Regarding the country's integration process, internet security has become more and more urgent and important. How can we prepare in terms of IT frameworks and cyberspace to protect our businesses from cyber attacks?
For any organizations, the first thing they need to do is to allocate the budget for their IT department to buy or to rent solution to protect their data. The second one is to implement and follow strictly with the standards being defined for the industry or general industry. Yeah. Then the third one is to rent the services from the professional companies to set up the very first infrastructure and manage the infrastructure or support later on.
Once again, thank you very much for joining us in our show today.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Security threats are becoming increasingly sophisticated and harder to handle. With cybercrime on the increase, firewall, antivirus, and anti-spam software are usually not enough to protect business networks. Thus, Vietnamese firms are urged to raise their awareness of the importance of information security and seek support to deal with the threats. And that's all we have for this episode of Bizline. Thank you very much for being with us. To rewatch our program, simply log on to vtv4.vn or youtube.com/vtv4go. And goodbye for now.